Hello guys, my name is Sai Srinivas and I am from Vishnu Institute of Technology second year. This is the video about Node.js interview questions and these are the questions you can see on the screen. The first question is what is Node.js and how does it differ from other server-side technologies like Apache or PHP? Node.js is a open source cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that allows developers to execute JavaScript code outside the web browser, primarily for server-side programming and also for building command line tools and web applications. Concurrency model of Node.js is a single-threaded event loop, whereas Apache or PHP is multi-threaded or process per request. Performance of Node.js is optimized for IO-heavy real-time apps, whereas PHP or Apache it's better for the CPU-heavy tasks like image processing. The language of Node.js is JavaScript for unified front-end and back-end code, whereas for PHP server-side scripting only. Node.js is used for APIs, real-time apps like charting, gaming, and microservices, whereas Apache or PHP are used for traditional web pages and CMS, example WordPress. Finally, we can say that the Node.js revolutionized the site-server development, prioritizing scalability and real-time capabilities, while Apache or PHP remains solid choice for traditional request response web pages applications. The second question is what are the callback functions in Node.js and why are they commonly used in asynchronous programming? A callback is a function passed as an argument to the another function to be executed after completion of the specific task. In Node.js, callback functions are fundamental in handling the asynchronous operations like IO or network request or timers. The callback functions are naturally used in asynchronous programming because of the non-blocking IO. Node.js event loop cannot wait for the operations like read files or database queries. Callback function allows the main thread to continue the process other task while waiting for the IO. And because of the event driven structure, callback responds to the events without blocking the event loop like HTTP requests, timer expirations, etc. Other reason is scalability to avoid the thread or process overhead, unlike the multi-thread model in Apache or PHP. Finally, we can say that callback enables Node.js to handle the high concurrency efficient but required careful structure of avoiding complexities. And the next question is what the purpose of the package.json file in Node.js project? Can you explain the key properties of file found in it? The package.json file is the project manifest of the Node.js applications. It serves as dependency tracker, project metadata, configuration hub, publishing tool. And its properties are name, which is a unique identifier for the package, version, which follows the semantic of versioning like major dot minor dot patch, and description. It is a brief explanation about the package purpose. And next one is main, which is the entry point, which is loaded when the package is imported. And the dependencies package required for the production installed via npm. And engine specifies the compatibility of node.js or npm versions and so on. Finally, we can say that the package.json file is the backbone of the Node.js project, centralizing the configuration dependencies and workflows, properly configuring and ensuring the consistency, scalability, and ease of maintenance. Next question is explain the difference between the required and import statements in the Node.js. When and why would they use one or other? Require is a traditional way of importing modules in the Node.js, part of CommonJS. Import is a part of ES model, which is newer standard of JavaScript. Node.js started supporting the ESM model in later versions, but there are some differences in how they work. Firstly, CommonJS require module are loaded synchronously, which can block the execution. EMS import allows the asynchronous loading, which is better for performance, especially in browsers, but Node.js handles it in its own way. Require is dynamic, so you can call it anywhere in the code, even conditionally. Import is static, meaning it has to be top level and can't be inside the conditional or functions that affects the how modules are loaded. We use require when working with legacy Node.js codebase or packages that does not support ES model. Needed dynamic imports, that is conditionally loading models. We use import when writing new code targeting the browser environment, that is isometric apps with shared client or server codes. Needing tree shaking for optimizing bundle sizes, critical for front-end framework. Finally, we can say that import for the modern cross-platform JavaScript projects and require is for legacy systems or dynamic loading. Node.js is increasingly embracing ESM, so new projects should adapt import unless constrained by dependencies. Next question is what is middleware in the context of Express.js? Can you give me an example of how would you use middleware in Express applications? A middleware in Express.js refers to the function that execute during the request response cycle. These functions can modify the request or response objects, execute code, and the cycle, pass control to the next middleware using next. Express applications are essential for stack of middleware execution in sequence. The real world use cases of middleware are authentication, request validation, rate limiting, logging. Finally, we can say middleware is the backbone of the Express.js, enabling flexible and scalable request processing. By chaining focus, single responsibility functions can be build robust applications while keeping the code clean and maintainable. Next question is what is RESTful API and how can you create one using Node.js and Express.js? Explain the main HTTP method for using RESTful APIs. REST means representational state transfer. A RESTful API is an architectural style for designing network applications. It uses resource-based URLs, standard HTTP methods, stateless communication, JSON or XML for data exchange. For creating RESTful API with Node.js and Express, I'll need the outline steps like setting up the project with npm, installing Express, creating an instance, define routing for each HTTP method, using the middleware like express.json for parsing the bodies, starting the server. Finally, I can say that RESTful API in Express.js leveraging HTTP method to platform CRUD operations on resources. By following REST examples, you can create scalability, maintainability, and initiative APIs that integrate the seamless with clients. Next question is what is the purpose of the Node Package Manager and how do you use it to manage the dependencies in Node.js project? Node Package Manager is a default package manager for Node.js, serving three core functions. Firstly, package installation to download and manage third-party libraries like Express and React. Dependency tracking, record and version the dependencies in package.json and packagelog.json. Script automation, define commands like npm start, npm test. Finally, NPM streamlined dependency management ensures reproducibility and security in Node.js projects. By mastering in command and versioning rules, and you maintain the control over the project ecosystem while leveraging the vast JavaScript module registry. And the final question is why is it important to hash the passwords in web applications? Hashing is a password non-recognizable security practice to protect credentials in case of data breach. To prevent plain text exposure, storing passwords in plain text allows attackers to instantly steal the credentials. if the database is compromised. Next is mitigating the credential reuse risk. Many users reuse the password across the sites. Hashing ensures attackers can't exploit stolen passwords elsewhere. Finally, we can say that hashing the password is foundational to the user security. By using modern salted hashing algorithms, you can ensure that even if attackers breach your database, they can't easily exploit the stolen credentials. Always prioritize hashing over reversible encryption or plain text storage. And this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching.